Good morning. My name is George Snow in North Shore. Um, I have a few questions because I'm a little confused about the budget. Your $48 or approximate increase a year, is that take into account the 600,000 plus dollars you've lumped into the $4 million for the dam?
Yes,
So you're telling me that that 600,000 is cost of funds and all is included in that 48?
yes. What I'm saying is the $4 million loan, and this is information Richard has given me. The $4 million loan, the current due structure as it stands now, will it will take care of that debt. And I honestly can't tell you how long the term is. I don't know, but the current dues will support the debt service on that $4 million. So that 613, I've backed it out. Just use again this $1 million number. I've backed that 613 out of the million. So that 48 is representing the 471
All
gap.
right, so if I understand this correctly, we're not looking at the club as a whole, what it's going to cost us, and what it's going to maintain us. We're giving ourselves $600,000 credit because it's already taken care of the $4 million, okay?
Okay, I'm following you
Okay,
so far.
but we haven't been told what the $4 million is going to cost us yet.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not
I understand.
authorized or qualified to answer that question, but
I
what Richard
understand.
tells me is our current dues will service the debt on the $4 million, whatever that's prorated out to. I don't know.
I understand that, okay? But what we're being asked to do.
Is there a member of Finance Committee in the room? Seriously? Would one of you mind taking this, please?
Okay,
Just to be clear, when Richard talked about our current due structure being able to support the debt service, it would only do the debt service. We have also, as you know, George, we have about, we have on average every year about $350,000 of additional CapEx expenses, which are the things that would go to other projects aside from.
Here we go. Hey, Charlie.
Okay, I may not have all the details that you want so far as that's concerned. However, closer to the mouth. Yeah, I'm Charlie Weber. I've been on the Finance Committee for about 6 years now. I have been out of town for a while, so I'm not current on some of the aspects of what we're doing and the details so far as that's concerned. The $4 million loan is something that we can handle with existing dues for at least 2 years is what we expect. Beyond that, we're going to have to make decisions in terms of additional costs and dues in order to continue to fund the infrastructure of Martin's Landing moving forward. So to start with, we're covered, but there is going to be an increase in cost yet to be determined down the road. So we don't want to fool anybody that this is all for free. It's not. So there is going to be an additional cost. Does that answer the question?
Not really, Charlie. Let's expand on that a bit. After 2 years, you're not telling them there's another 8 to 12 million in infrastructure repairs required for the foundation. On a 20-year plan, I helped develop it, and Lisa knows it. And that's the point I'm trying to bring across, is that if, let me finish, then the board, you could say what you want. The board has an obligation to tell us over X years, not year to year, what it's going to cost us. Because if you look at the infrastructure repairs and what this club is going to cost us and other things, that $48 isn't going to stand. You know it, I know it. It might stand for 2 years, but then you might be looking at a $300 or $400 increase, or a $200 increase at least, to start funding these CAP projects. That's what I'm getting at. And the other thing, and I don't want to take everyone's time, we keep discounting FF&E, furniture and fixtures. That could be $300,000 or $400,000 added to this. So there's another $48 that could be added. And you can shake your head, could be $200, I don't know. But I do know from experience like you, it's not going to be $50,000 or $60,000. It's going to be more than that. That's all I'm trying to say. If you're asking these people to make a decision, we have to give it, and I think the committee did a great job. I don't want you to think I'm shooting bullets, but what you've been given. But you got to let these people know the real cost. And I don't think that's being given here. If it was $48, most of us would say, hey, that's great, let's run.
The $48, to his point, I'm only talking about the River Club here. I don't even know the first penny to deal with the rest of Martin's Landing. I don't know. That's the Finance Committee. As the reason FF&E is not included, quite frankly, the committee is well aware that we're trying to do this for as little as we can. We made a decision. We decided, you know what can we not live with, or what can we live without early? We can live without furniture. I mean, that was a decision we made. If you want us to put it back in, tell us on the survey. We'll gladly do it.
I'm John
That's
Parambo.
a separate budget. Pool equipment is a separate budget within the overall budget of Martin's Landing. It doesn't have anything to do with the clubhouse itself, so that's why we left it out of our numbers. It's covered elsewhere in the total. And again, I'm getting that from finance, so you'll have to ask them specifics on that.
Hi, I'm John Parambo. I'm from North Shore. Guess this is one of the reasons we're here as families. A philosophy question, because there's a lot of good questions out here. What if grasshoppers had machine guns? These guys have done a lot and tried to figure out the what ifs. I mean, we could have another flood next week. So you can what if these guys to death. So let's focus on the facts at hand and make decisions on that. That's a statement, not a question. The question I have is from a planning perspective. I guess I'm directing this one at Jeff. We saw the earliest we can possibly expect. Looking at your project plan from a critical path, what is the next milestone that we have here that we can kind of frame us up on what the milestones are to get to that? And then also, I'd like to can you manage our expectations on, more likely the case because of the process, how this will go with constructive discussion as we go forward. What is the worst case of, adding all your slack times, all your offsets? When would we see as our worst case end date to see the pool? Because a lot of us with families and that would like to get that. I mean, I moved here in '06, right at the cusp when everything changed. And that's why I bought in Martin's Landing, because of the River Club. I was not going to buy here until my realtor found out that that was included in the amenities. And I think talking to some other people, that's something to keep in mind. Not just looking at this, but what is your house worth? Money in your pocket that you're going to lose if we don't make this investment. How much are you going to lose on the total value of your home if there's not an investment made?
Hey, John, real quick, I need a clarification before I can answer the question. You wanted to know the next milestone.
I guess when's the next key decision that's being made? I know you mentioned it, but if we can just highlight.
Okay, all right, fine, I got you.
When people expect to see, some people brought up the comment, somebody's making a vote for me or whatever. What's the next thing we need to have on our radar to watch out for?
Okay, all right.
And then what's the worst case when we can put this in place?
Okay, we put the schedule back up here. The next milestone is mid-September. Bob can speak more clearly on that, but what we're being told by the board is they're wanting to have a meeting in mid-September to take a vote on how to proceed forward. To answer your question on best, worst case, and some milestones on that, well, worst case is kind of a big answer. I'd like to say this is being conservative, this schedule, so we can call it worst case, but I can think of a lot worse things that could happen and blow it out. So I think that this is conservative and but not overly so. There was a question earlier about use of the pool and getting back into the pool. Best case. We can sequence this job, and again, this is really dependent on when we get started with construction. If let's just to look at a worst case scenario, if we didn't start construction until February, by May, I'm going to have a real hard time seeing the contractor in a point where we can safely get kids and families into the pool to use it without causing a problem. That's just my opinion. If we start like we're projecting here in December, we could probably do that. Again, it's a safety issue, and you have to sequence the project. This might speed up a little bit. Maybe we get the permit a little faster. If we start getting feedback from the city on the permit comments through the architect, and it doesn't sound like anything they're going to make us do in the permit process is going to add any real cost, they're just wanting to see, lots of times they want to add notes on drawings that mean nothing to anybody, quite frankly. We could move ahead with the bid process. There's a little risk there, but we could make that decision and decide, you know what, we're going to go and get numbers now. That would expedite it by about a month-ish. Does that answer the question, John? Wherever you went? Okay. Oh, Bob wants to say something.
Just let me let you know that one of our big concerns is opening that pool. So we're going to make every effort to have that happen. But just like you're saying, the schedule has to be flexible, whether it's conservative or it's not. If it rains for a month, it's going to put us behind. That's just the way construction is. But we will make every effort to see that the pool is open in May.
I just want to make a clarification. When we're talking about the possibility of increased dues down the road and the $4 million in the loan that we're having to take out, the biggest part of that is the dam. It's not the River Club. So keep in mind that even if we did nothing with the River Club, that's likely to be the case down the road. And we have no option on the dam. That's a requirement.
We're getting a little short on time here, so if you have a question, now would be the time to get in line. I'm going to cut it off at about maybe one more person, and we need to move so we can move on to this. One more person. We could start passing the survey, but I'd like to cut off the question with you, ma'am, in the blue shirt, and just let you take your turn.
Okay, my name's Darren Noir, and I live in North Pond. My question is sort of a technical question about the $4 million loan. Is that going to be a secured loan or just a line of credit? And if it is secured, what's the collateral? And has the bank, required a phase 1 investigation of the River Club site?
The security basically is the dues collecting ability of the foundation. So dues collecting is why. Okay. They could conceivably, worst case, if we defaulted and all that, they could basically take over the collection and the allocation of any dues assessments by the foundation. We don't expect that to happen, but there is no security so far as property is concerned.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Just for your information, there is a meeting next Saturday morning from 8 till noon, and it's on the commitment letter that we received from the bank. The rate will be there, the amount of payment, all of that kind of stuff is there. We'll also publish most of that once it's no longer proprietary of the banks, that we'll publish that information on the website. So you will get all the information. Some of it will be after the fact because we don't own the lending papers. It's as simple as that.